On a Saturday night in Richmond, Virginia, it has been all Tony Stewart so far as on the racetrack. Frankie Stoddard, Joe Gibbs, and Ray Evernham can only look on and see Tony pretty much dominating things here in the first 272 laps. He's got about a 3/4 of a second lead on Jeff Gordon at the moment. Bill Weber, we've noticed that Bill Elliott has been in a couple of times recently.
And now he's going behind the wall, Bob. He had a vibration. They were hoping it was just a tire. Then they wanted to know if it might have been the drive shaft. He believes it's in the gear. It's a problem with the pinion. So they've taken it behind the wall. They will change the rear end gear on the 94 car. Tough break for him. Was running well. Now behind the wall. Briefly on Jeff Bodine in the 6-0. They think they've got a bad valve spring. He's out there limping around, but has lost a tremendous amount of position.
Yeah, he's lost 2 laps back in 29th, Jeffrey Bodine. Here's Mike Skinner, Dale Jarrett, and John Andretti as they battle for 12th, 13th, and 14th as the pole sitter Skinner has dropped back now to 12th. Here's the Bud Race recap. Tony Stewart continuing to add to his lap lead, 207 currently. We've had 13 lead changes and 5 caution laps. Average speed almost 102 miles an hour. Here are the 5 drivers who have led at least a lap here tonight. We have a couple of drivers that are off the racetrack, and notice that Rick Mast has taken his car behind the wall. And Rick, again, we remind you, is the only driver that does not have a DNF this year. And 2 cars out of the race as a result of crashes, Chad Little and Terry Labonte. Mark Martin beginning to struggle. He was up there in 2nd position, now has dropped back to 7th. Ray, what's the problem there?
Well, Bob, it has to do with this set of tires that they've got on the race car. Mark just came on the radio and said to Jimmy Fenning, I don't even think we'll be able to make it to the next stop. This set of tires is just killing me.
See Dale Earnhardt there in front of Mark Martin. The Goodwrench Chevrolet has gone by Mark, taken over the 6th position.
Back to this battle for the 12th spot between Jarrett and Skinner.
And you see behind them Bobby Hamilton, the Kodak Film Chevrolet. All of a sudden, he has lost the handle on that car. Remember how well he run earlier in the race? All of a sudden, now he's struggling back in 14th.
Well, he was pretty far back on this restart, Benny, and he has passed John Andretti and has caught up to these drivers here. But whether he'll be able to do anything with them or not. But you're right, he was up there in the top 10, but now he's not doing as well as he was. Jarrett finally did get around Mike Skinner and took over the 12th position.
Tony Stewart begins to move through some heavy traffic. That's Wally Donovan back in the 25 and Dick Trickle, who is relief driving for Ricky Rudd. Announcement possibly could come on Monday regarding Ricky Rudd's 2000 plans. Word is that he is going to go to the 28. RPM tonight at 7 o'clock Monday night, with John Kernan will have the full details.
Or Jeff Gordon ran in there on the 10 car and almost ran over him, then almost ran into the wall.
Just had to slam on the brakes to avoid the 10 car, and you're right, it almost caught the wall. That last lap, Jeff Gordon's been running around 118 mile per hour average. The last time his average speed was 114 miles per hour. That's how much time he lost with that incident over in turn 2.
Still maintains 2nd, however, over Jeff Burton. There's Jeff. He has David Green between himself and Jeff Gordon. There's the leader as he puts another lap on Mike Wallace, who will go 2 laps down in the 26th position. Just a little more than 100 laps to go in the Exide NASCAR Select Batteries 400 from Richmond International Raceway. Benzoil Copter Cam has a great shot of the downtown Richmond, Virginia area. We're located a few miles away in Henrico County, Virginia at Richmond International Raceway. And we are 108 laps to go in the Exide NASCAR Select Batteries 400, the 25th race of the 1999 NASCAR Winston Cup season. Speaking of NASCAR, keep up to date with what's going on. Silly season is in its prime. There's going to be a lot of changes in the next few days. You can keep up with it on the NASCAR online site at www.nascar.com. Tony Stewart has a 1.66 second lead on Jeff Gordon as Tony comes up to put another lap on the 9 car of Steve Grissom. That puts him 3 laps down in 31st spot. There is Jeff Gordon. And Bill Weber, is there a problem on the 24?
It sure doesn't look like it watching him on the racetrack, Bob, but about 8 laps ago he called in and said, I just broke the transmission, or we broke the transmission. But he continued to go on the racetrack, and Ray has told him, just keep doing what you're doing. Now, at the back here, they have gotten out a second transmission. They've rolled out a cart that they could change gears. They're all set to make any kind of preparations. But I asked Ray Evernham. He said, right now they're okay. I said, what's the story? He goes, it's a long story. And there's no time for a long story at a short track race, so we'll keep our eyes and ears open.
Well, he's maintaining his advantage over third place Jeff Burton. They're separated by about 1.4 seconds. The on-track performance of the 24 doesn't appear to be affected at the moment. The 33 car of Ken Schrader had a problem a couple of laps ago. Ken is a lap down in the 24 spot.
We just pancaked the right side of that car. See the wheels, and we see some sparks coming from under the car where something's dragging the racetrack. So he's made contact with the wall. When those wheels are white instead of black, that means they have concrete and paint on them.
Quite a story involving Schrader. Andy Petrie held an impromptu news conference before the start of the race and confirmed that apparently Ken Schrader will not fulfill his obligation to Petrie in the 2000 season. And Ken looks like headed for the 36.
Of course, the 36 vacated when Ernie Irvin retired last week from NASCAR Winston Cup competition.
And Jerry Nadeau, who has been driving that, is going over the 25 for the 2000 season. Wally Dallenbach is an available driver.
In the 30 car, Todd Bodine in front of Kenny Schrader. Todd Bodine is 1 lap down in 23rd position as Schrader trying to get by.
This is a battle for position.
On board with the State Fair Corn Dogs onboard camera.
300 laps complete. Stewart's lead now 2.1 seconds. And the 55 car of Kenny Wallace will lose his first lap of the evening. Running in 19th spot. Been a good run for Kenny.